What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about why not to put your name on your first business. When I was thinking about this show, I was thinking about that I put my name on my first few businesses, not knowing anything that I'm about to teach you today. And I'm going to teach you exactly why not to put your name on your first business. And I know this might sound ridiculous because it's your baby, it's your everything. I get it. I was in that spot. However, 15 years later of having 6 businesses and helping people scale their own, I'm going to explain to you why not to put your name on your business. So like I said, this was a mistake that I was making for many years, and I didn't know I was making this mistake. The name of my first business was CW Fit. I was CW Fit. I was my brand. And CW, for those of you that don't know, are my initials. You know, when I was getting started, I was super ego driven. I had no clue what I was doing. And the fashionable thing at that time in the fitness industry was to name your fitness business with your initials on it. You know, I just did what everybody else was doing. I was probably a little sheepish and I didn't know any better. And as you guys know, I've talked about openly the immense amount of mistakes that I made early on in my career. And I made this mistake of putting my name on that business, putting my name on my second business, which was considerably larger and was a 7-figure annual business. The thing about it is this: when you put your name on your business, it really constrains a lot of things. The big picture is if you put your name on the business, it's going to be very difficult to scale the company moving forward. Let's say you want a franchise. Let's say you want to open multiple locations. Let's say you just want to grow the business and scale it. It's going to be very difficult to do it with your name on it unless you're like an anomaly like Benihana or Michael Jordan Steakhouse. You know, things like that, unless you're like a player to begin with, okay? We're not talking about them. We're talking about us normal dudes and chicks starting our first business, not really having a lot of resources, not knowing what we're doing, and wanting to put our name on it. Well, if you put your name on it, you're going to struggle with scalability. Now, if you're in the beginning, and when it comes to naming a business, in this case, your first business, you might not be thinking about how to actually scale. You might have that vision in your head of you being like the best at whatever it is your business does and having all sorts of money and cars and vacations, or maybe you're not thinking of any of that. But the point is, even if you are thinking of the long term, you're not thinking about what it's going to take to scale to get to the long term. And I assure you, if your name is on the business, it's going to be much harder. It wasn't until my 5th business that I realized this, and I stopped using my name on my businesses. The interesting part about it is Warrior Consulting, for what most of you know me for, was initially CW Consulting. And I changed that name to Warrior Consulting, and it is the fastest scaling business I have ever done. One of the reasons is because my name is not on it. So, what does it mean when your name is on a business? Well, let me explain something. If your name is on a business, your customers are going to expect you to be there if you have a physical location, or your customers are going to expect to be able to speak to you at whatever time that they feel is most important, whether it's 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, or when you're on vacation in Europe, not paying attention to business, but your name's on the business and a customer has a problem, they expect to be able to talk to the owner like that. Now, these are things I did not know until going through it. I made a huge mistake of putting my name on a brick and mortar gym that was 20,000 square feet and had thousands of customers. So whenever those thousands of customers had a freaking problem, they wanted to speak to the owner. Now, I'm not hating on them for wanting to speak to the owner. My name was on the business, which means they expected me to be there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. 4 o'clock in the morning, they got a problem. I want to speak to Chris. 10 o'clock at night, I have a problem. I want to speak to Chris. The cleaning crew that comes in at 12 o'clock at night when Chris is sleeping, I have a problem. I need to speak to Chris. That's what you're not thinking about. That's what I wasn't thinking about. That's what I didn't know, and that's what I know now. And what it comes down to is you are going to have problems scaling, and you're going to be expected to adhere to whatever the customers need, whenever they need it, however they need it, regardless of them being right or wrong. And that is why you do not name your first business after yourself, or do not put your name on your first business. That's what I got for you today, guys. What not to do when naming your first business, which is putting your name on it. I hope you learned something today, guys. If you did, drop a comment. If you think I'm wrong, drop a comment. Let's talk about it. Definitely hit that like button and hit subscribe. I'll catch you next time.